Today here on Indie Attack with Kelson and myself, Woody, we have Offworld, a game by Tengu Games. This is an airship combat game.
Yes, it sure is. In the vein of a Crimson Skies,
Rogue Squadron,
yeah,
that sort of thing. And how the game works is that I'm pretty sure right now this is just kind of this is a demo version. This isn't the full game.
Yeah, I mean it's a multiplayer or I mean it's not multiplayer though. I mean it's like a arena only kind of a thing. Like
as of right now, this game is an arena based aerial combat game.
Yeah.
And how it plays is that you spawn into the game.
Right.
Each team has I think it's 100 lives altogether.
Like,
and
you're either a ninja or a royal.
And I don't think there's any distinction between those two other than the appearance of your ship. So, and how that works, like from the class-based system, is you spawn in like that, you can pick two classes, a fast one or a heavy one, and then each of those has several selections of weapons that you can pick that do different things. There's a shotgun that's really powerful at close range, but only the big ship can use it. There's a speed booster that lets you go faster. There's a field of mines you can toss out behind you to damage people behind you.
Smaller ship, take more damage.
Smaller ship, take more damage, but you're faster, can dodge stuff. Larger ship, you have a lot more health.
We've been here before.
Slower. It's a pretty common balance.
Yeah.
But anyway, how the arena is set up, there's a bunch of floating islands around, there's some turrets on some islands, and you basically just shoot people until one of the teams loses all their people.
Yeah.
Once you die, you get to respawn down to a certain point. I think you can have so many ships in play, it's like 10 or 15.
Yeah.
And once you die under that number, you can't spawn in.
Right, yeah. Definitely.
And so that's pretty much the whole game.
That's pretty much the whole game.
Everybody.
Yeah, you pick a side, shoot the other guys, boom. It's pretty simple. So, I don't know, how do you feel about it? I mean...
I have an enduring love of airships.
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons I wanted to play this game.
Yeah.
And I think this shows a lot of promise, but there's some stuff that I think they kind of need to address right now. Control-wise, does not feel great.
No.
It's...
Especially with the big ships, good lord.
The turning radius is weird on these. It doesn't really feel very responsive. It's one of those things, it feels probably accurate to what moving an actual boat would feel like, but that doesn't really feel fun from a gameplay
A tugboat, yeah.
So, yeah, sluggish controls, not necessarily responsive all that much, and that kind of leads to a gameplay problem where there aren't really a lot of strategic ways to approach combat in this.
Yes.
Because since you can't really turn all that fast, flanking people is kind of difficult, which is one of the big strategies that you'd want from an air combat game, because you just can't turn fast enough to do that.
Dogfighting is pretty much... I mean, two things... With that, to add on to your point, the aiming is just kind of not there. I mean, I felt it was very... Just because it was so slow.
You pretty much just aim where you're going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It didn't feel like I was, engaging in that way. It was more just, pointing at something and hoping I hit it. Because of the way you're...
Fire into a crowd.
Yeah, and the slow moving, it's if you're trying to pursue someone, it was just very...
And then it's kind of that...
slow.
Movement momentum you get where you get in a situation where you move a little too much... and then you want to try and move back, but then you overcompensate, and it's just it's not really a lot of precision control in this game. And yeah, that's the main complaint I have with it. I was really psyched to play this. I was kind of disappointed on that angle, but I think this could be a really strong concept if they put some more time into it and got some more people maybe testing it and giving them some feedback on that. And if they looked at maybe how the game works in terms of where you're fighting and what you're doing with that, because I think if you had some larger capital ships that were player controlled and you could control turrets on, if you were a dude that could pilot ships and not just a ship, that would be really cool, because I don't know if you've ever played this, but Star Wars Battlefront, it had the whole mechanic where you can get on a ship, fight a Star Destroyer, jump out in their hangar bay, go and blow stuff up like that.
I thought that's how it was going to work, because they people were parachuting out of their they show that, but it's that's just sort of inconsequential, just sort of oh, I guess they're not dead, don't worry so bad, the ninjas are fine, they're parachuting, but I completely agree with you. I think it's although I will say probably the biggest compliment, I thought it looked great.
Yeah, aesthetically this game's
for a freaking free game, I was I was oh, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of, it's just sort of the controls and stuff. It just didn't feel absolutely perfect, but I think it is a great, again, one of those selling point games that could be expanded on.
Yeah.
And I think if they just made the combat more sophisticated, made it to where, like, you really feel like speed, and like in a dogfight, you're in a dogfight. You know, that's the thing. Not
you
like
need to have more velocity control for your
Yes.
ship to be able to increase your speed for a little bit, decrease your speed, and get that tight turning radius
Yeah.
in there. Because I really like games like Crimson Skies.
Yeah, to invoke
and
Crimson
Rogue
Sky
Squadron
here.
and
Yeah.
stuff, and even Star Fox and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
right. Yeah, where you can the sense of you never feel like Star Fox. Yeah, you never feel like you're going to do that spin around, do a 360 thing.
3D control of games like this because flying and swimming are the same thing. Swimming controls and flying controls are usually a little questionable in most games.
Yeah, right.
And you really have to dedicate a lot of time to getting that right.
Yes.
So that's the main thing I want to see get fixed here.
Definitely. But a lot of promise. And
So yeah, from a recommendation standpoint, I probably really wouldn't recommend this all that highly because of those issues.
Yeah.
I do think multiplayer, it would be quite fun once that gets up and running.
That's what I was
even
thinking.
with the jankiness that it has right now.
Exactly. It's a perfect multiplayer game, and if they just, even with, as it stands right now, if they added multiplayer, it could be fun, but I think, in the future, if they just, just add more depth to the game, and, definitely worked on the mechanics,
So yeah, I'd probably give it an optimistic 3 right now, and that if it got better, I could like it more and more and more.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, around the 3 or so. Not a perfect game, but definitely something to look out for. Tengu, definitely they have good art design, and who knows, maybe it'll pop up again in the future as a more developed game.